say I'm sorry for the third time in an hour. And I'm drunk again. Rest easy, 'cause there's gotta be some kind of truth in what I'm saying.
All right. I think we're live. Oh, so before we start filling up our cups, what was your workout today?
My workout today was a lot of yard work, but then I took a break and did a 5-mile ruck with about 20 pounds out at Cava Wildlife Management Area.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, got to explore a little bit, hit the river, explore a couple waterfalls that I've never seen before. It was just nice.
Where's that at?
Out past P Ridge, heading down that way.
Oh, okay.
So it's about 25, 30 minutes out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine today was chasing kids. We Easter egg hunting.
It's cardio in itself.
The chasing wasn't bad. It was fighting them to tell them, hey, it's time to go home.
Right.
So, yeah, that was the hard part.
I gotcha.
Today, I'm thinking we should drink some Blue Note.
Okay.
So, not a sponsor, but a fairly local Tennessee. So, just up the road a little ways.
Yeah. Just got back from Tennessee a couple of weeks ago.
We might finish this bottle today.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Chin. That's some good stuff. All right. Well, figured we start today off talking a little bit about the music in our intro and outro. Not sure if anybody knows it, but I stole it from you.
It was given with permission.
Yeah, it was given. Well, it was you giving me permission. You didn't give it to me. I stole it. I had to go screen record it from Spotify.
I gotcha.
Please don't kick me off Spotify. But no, Alex and I love your music, and I swear the words just kind of fit perfect in my mind.
Yeah.
So I just saw it as like, especially the outro, last call, finish all your whiskey. It's like that, just perfect.
It is perfect. It is perfect. Yeah, it was good that I have a few songs about drinking, just in a sense.
Just a few.
Just a few.
Drunk OK. I remember the first time I heard that one. I honestly thought you were singing about me.
Why you?
Some of the lyrics kind of fit.
Yeah.
My wild streak before I met Alex.
I gotcha.
And I'm not gonna lie. After you played it for the first time at the bar, we were at Interstellar. I remember it clear as day because I was like, Alex is sitting next to me. Is this nice? Is this about me? I think I came and asked you. I'm like, hey,
I think
about?
you did.
And you told me it was a guy from college. I was like, okay.
Well, see, the thing is like that song is so relatable because I feel like we've all been there, and I feel like we've all been in that situation and scenario, or at least know somebody that has acted that way before.
Such a fun song too.
It's probably the most fun song that we play live.
I know when we left the bar the other night when you played, we played it on the way home.
Yeah.
And we talked about how like that, if any of your songs were going to take off, it was probably going to be that one. Like get really big.
It just like you connect with the crowd so easy with that one because they get that participation of just saying, hey,
Yeah.
It's just fun. It's just a fun song.
And I love the build up because, you're not cussing a lot into the beginning. And then all of a sudden it's like, F you.
Well, that song was kind of written about a relationship that's not mine, but just outside looking in.
Mhm.
And the relationship kind of took that dramatic effect where it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. So I felt like, hey, how can I mimic that in song format? So yeah, I think it worked out really, really well to kind of tell that story.
It was great. I had to do a little editing to make sure it was sponsor friendly,
right? Appropriate.
To make sure it was coming in. But if you haven't listened to the full song, they are on Spotify. What's the band name?
American Dream Factory.
Yep. You got about 10 songs on Spotify with that?
Yeah, we so initially I kind of when I had shoulder surgery back in like 2017, I think it was, I couldn't run, couldn't do endurance sports or anything like that. So I had to take like 8 weeks off. So 8 weeks of just sitting around the house, practically doing nothing. So I picked back up the guitar and just started writing songs for the first time in years. And so wrote about 10 songs, which kind of came to fruition in the initial LP. Like our initial debut album was called Cheers to Our Ghost.
Yeah. which is the outro, right? Or is that kind of taunt?
Cheers to Our Ghost is the intro, I think.
No, it's the outro.
Outro. It's the
Finish
outro.
all your whiskey.
Yeah. So that's the outro.
Yeah.
So I wrote that song back in like 2012 when it's about how I would spend the last night, since we're supposed to all die in 2012. Obviously, it didn't happen. So I was like, what would I do if I had one more night to kind of live? So, but no, yeah, we've got, the 2018, we did a full length album produced by Matt Sanderlin. He's out of Nashville now. Really had a great time recording it. It's just real raw, real rooty. And then we did a 5-song EP last year. So we got about 15-ish songs under American Dream Factory on Spotify.
Now, do you have any of your own solo music on Spotify? Because I know when I met you, you were writing songs. That was 2010 again. I think that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I actually found a video. I had just bought a camcorder for some reason.
Yeah.
I think it was on clearance at Target when we were working there.
Yeah.
And I was working electronics. So I snatched it up when I got off work. It was like $20 or something. And I was playing with it. And I found a video. I swear it was like 3 weeks ago. I was digging through trying to get video recording and stuff set up for this. And there was some videos on there from 2010. I was like, I'm kind of scared to see what's on here. That was a long time ago. But there was a video of you, me, and Katie all in y'all's apartment last year, and you were doing Heaven Bound. Yeah,
which is one of your and Alex's favorite songs. Yeah, it's one of my favorite songs.
By far my favorite.
Yeah.
But it was so weird seeing how young we looked in those videos.
I feel like a baby.
Oh yeah, especially Katie. Katie still looks really young. You almost like a cradle robber. But even back then, she looked her age. So in that video, she looked like she was 12.
Yeah, it's I started writing, but I have a lot of my own personal music out on Spotify and things like that, and Bandcamp and all the things. It's just my acoustic, folky, singer-songwriter kind of stuff. But yeah, I started kind of really I've always been a fan of music, but I never started to learn to actually play music and the guitar until my freshman year of college. I was just don't know what's going on, kind of bored. So I'm just going to teach myself how to play.
Yeah. Did you play at the tavern?
All the time. Yeah.
Was it the tavern where it's at now? Because I know they moved and then they went back.
Yeah. So it used to be double play in the tavern that's on that side. So I played there a good bit. Then when they transitioned over to the ACC, the bus station, and where the tavern is now, I used to play that a good bit too.
I got you. I think that was the first time I saw you play. Was there?
Okay. Yeah, I used to
a fraternity thing or something.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in the fraternity. I just showed up.
And we used to have big turnouts for that, just because you become friends with everybody on campus. All the sports would all get together, fraternities, sororities, and just hey, we're all getting together to listen and play some music. So it was always a great time.
Oh yeah, I bet. We got there kind of the tail end. I think the booty night or whatever.
Yeah.
That ended the year after I graduated.
The booty night's coming back on the 20th.
I don't know if that's supposed to be just anybody though. I think it's invite only.
I don't know.
We'll be very careful because I don't know what our audience is going to look like for this show, and I don't want to. I want to go, and I don't want it to be crowded.
We're going.
I'm getting old, and I'm that type that's the club should be quiet, and the club should be the people I like.
We'll have to suck it up for this one time. Suck it up for this one time.
It's somebody's birthday.
I think it's Zachary Banks.
We went
I think 40th birthday, I think, or something like that.
And I think so. It is invite only, but
I think it's more of a public invite.
But we know the owner. We're connected in the small town.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, I think that was the first time you probably saw me play.
Mm-hmm.
I miss those acoustic, just kind of one-on-one singer-songwriter kind of crowds and feels. I used to love playing covers, but I just love playing originals now.
That's what I remember. You were so good at weaving covers together.
Mm-hmm.
You would play. What's that video? This viral, it's 4-chord songs. And they just play the same 4 chords and they just change songs. You were really good at
that. Yeah, because I could play 15, 20-minute songs of just linking these things together. It was fun because you could mix country, rock, and rap and just mash it together and it just flows.
Oh yeah.
It's just fun. And it gets crowd into it. All things good.
Man, I wish I had that talent. I learned to play like very specific songs on the guitar, but I just never could get to where I could just pick it up and play.
See, I was never one of these people that wanted to be a technical or lead guitarist. I just loved writing because for me, it's therapeutic. It kind of gets things out of here and onto paper. I love to tell stories. And so it's just songwriting can just be storytelling at its finest. So a lot of the songs that I write, it's not even, about me per se. It's about, other people's experiences or my opinion on other people's experiences. And so it's just fun to kind of take something and kind of polish it and kind of create it and keep it there in that timestamp.
I probably shouldn't tell this story, but I remember going on a mud run with you, and it was me, you, and Katie in the cabin. And I bruised the shit out of my legs playing the drums. Man.
I remember that.
Because all I could do is
what was that song?
It was
Somebody that you used to know.
Yes.
It just came out, so we learned it.
And I was drunk, and I thought I sounded amazing. But if that video came to like somewhere, please burn it.
I'm sure it's out there.
If Katie has it somewhere, please burn it.
I'm sure maybe on the Facebook somewhere.
I know there's pictures on Facebook because I've seen those pop up on my memory.
Yeah.
She drew a unicorn or something on my arm, like a tattoo.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago because I didn't have half of my tattoos I have now.
Yeah, that was a very long time ago. It was good times. That was good times.
Oh, yeah, good times.
Yeah, but, it's one of those things where, like, I will probably always write and play music till the day I die. Like a lot of the stuff that I put out solo-wise is just real raw. It's like recorded just at a at-home studio, kind of one take kind of deal. Because it's just, for me, it's not about just like that perfection piece. It's just about kind of creating something, putting it out there, sharing it with the world, and just because you never know who it's going to touch, or impact in a way.
Well, your home studio is probably a better setup than what we got here. So
I don't know, man. I think this is a better setup than what I got at the house.
Well, hopefully we'll continue to grow this. So
yeah,
if this goes well and people start getting interested, maybe we can upgrade slowly.
Yeah, I think that's what it's all about. It's just the slow upgrades. But
oh yeah, we are probably going to kill this bottle if I had to guess, because there's not pouring that into these cups knocked it down really low.
We can do it. We can definitely do it.
So if people want to find your music, it's I always want to say All American Dream Factory. It's American Dream Factory. Yes. And then your personal stuff.
It's just under Zach Andrews. Yeah. So I may come up with an alternative project. I really want to dive into some maybe industrial music. It's
what is that?
9 Inch Nails-ish.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of electronic. So I would like to kind of dabble in that and just at least put like an EP out just to say I did it. Nice. But yeah, if you want to find my music, Zach Andrews is kind of under Spotify and some other places, and American Dream Factory's on Spotify and iTunes, all the stuff.
Okay.
We won't be playing much live anymore. We played 2 Fridays ago at Trim Tab, and that was kind of one of our final shows for a while because, the guitarist has got a 6-month-old. Our drummer has kids, so it's kind of one of those things where it's just hard to get 4 grown-ups with careers with kids on the same page in order to
oh yeah,
because I know that you were trying to get us to play at y'all's upcoming event.
Yeah,
that's in April.
April 27th.
Okay.
I would have loved to have had a live band at the show. Y'all would have hated me afterwards because it's 7-8 hours out in the sun. Y'all probably wouldn't have wanted to play the whole time.
Right.
But I was thinking maybe even have y'all for an after party kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because our new location, this would be the biggest venue / biggest event that we've ever hosted.
Yeah.
Little backstory. It's EFInStrong, the banner we got here.
Yeah, I like the
new
new banner.
Just in time for this podcast. That was not planned. But
who's this guy? Is this you?
It's what I strive to be. But as many people from the video can probably tell that my stomach does not quite look like I might have the triceps, but that's about it. Talking about it in the last podcast, we created this just out of a whim. Wanted to see how it goes, and the Strongman community welcomed us so quick and so fast. And again, like Garrett, Tucker, Todd Williams, they helped me build this.
Yeah.
We went from 8 people the first event. I think we had 20 something the second, 30 something this one in April last year.
Yeah.
We're at 76 registered athletes, and that's because I cut it off. I had 5 or 6 people message me. They're like, "Hey, can we squeeze in?" And I was like, "No, we accidentally went over by one."
Yeah.
And like my sponsor packages don't cover more than 75 people, so I'm having to like maneuver some stuff around.
Right. Gotcha.
But yeah, we've got 76 athletes registered. I think we had a couple people fall off just for injuries and stuff.
Right.
But I mean, we're effectively doubling our biggest event ever in our venue, and like I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Just because the logistics alone, trying to get it all taken care of. I've got a phenomenal team set up. I mean, between some all-star judges, Damian Norris and Chris Stewart, then we got Todd Williams and Trey Godbold.
Mm-hmm.
Those 4 guys, they're going to kill it. Jeremy Shell is another guy who's helping me with the judging.
Okay.
But he's also, it's weird. We started off having me and him work together as learner coaches, which is something completely different. I'll talk about it later, but where we were going to really just kind of help the athletes throughout the event, because we designed this to be more of an entry-level comp.
Okay.
We didn't even want to be sanctioned after a while. We started thinking about it. We're like, we'll stay unsanctioned. It takes the pressure off, because somebody who wants to try it but doesn't want to pay a membership fee to a sanctioning body and dedicate a full year to that license.
Right.
Oh, no, I'll sign up one time, see how it feels. If I don't like it, I fall off.
Yeah.
If I like it, I'll move up to the next stage.
Give you different
And,
options.
yeah. You know, our weights are fairly light, but most competitions you have novice and then you have open. Open's the more like
Catch all.
competitive,
Yeah.
and they're like the stronger guys or the stronger women. The novice is the people who are early on. But I even this year created one called Learner Division.
Okay. Does any other kind of groups have a learner division at all?
No, typically.
Okay, so you're kind of piloting it.
I'm trying, yeah.
Okay.
Originally, we had 4 or 5 people sign up for it. Majority of them have moved up to novice, because I really told them, I was like, look, learner division, you're not getting a chance at a trophy.
Yeah.
You're not getting a chance at any prizes.
Okay.
It's literally you get out there. We teach you how to do it on the spot while we're demonstrating for the rest of the divisions. We give you an opportunity to see how good you could do in it. And then you step back, you get a t-shirt. The entry fee for a learner was like half the cost of everybody else. You pretty much paid for a t-shirt and like $5 extra to take up some time.
Yeah.
And we had a few people sign up for it, but after a while they got a little more confident and moved up, which is what I wanted.
That's the whole purpose of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wanted people to get into this event, get a feel for it, and there'd be no pressure.
Yeah.
You know, my first show was Alabama Strongest, which is a phenomenal show.
Right.
I love it. I've gone there every year that I've been in it, and I'm going back this year to do the live streams.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of pressure, because I mean that's a 10 now it's 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
It's established. It's a national qualifier for Strong Corp Nationals, and it's a big show with hundreds of people.
Right.
And I was like, that's scary for somebody who's not even in the sport.
Yeah,
I couldn't
absolutely.
imagine someone who's not even a like active person, because I'm trying to get people who are not even in the gym just to come out and try stuff.
Because it can be overwhelming, because starting anything new can be overwhelming. But if you put it on a pedestal and that kind of playing field, it's like most people won't even do it because they're just skittish.
Exactly.
So I like the fact that you're kind of taking it to the point where, hey, we're kind of grabbing you by the hand and say, hey, this is how it is.
Mm-hmm.
It alleviates so much pressure. And that's how you're going to see kind of the sport grow, and you're going to get that engagement that you want. And it's going to be like a family event instead of it being like pitting against each other.
And that's one thing that I really strive for. I want to bridge the gap between a lot of different strength sports. I've got a ton of friends that are in powerlifting, but they've never touched anything strongman.
Right.
And they would have so much fun if they came over, but they're very dedicated to powerlifting. So a good friend of mine, one of the judges, Trey, he mentioned like putting in a bench press, which bench press is not a typical event that you see in strongman.
Okay.
This year, I've seen it in a handful of events.
Yeah.
Like Shaw Classic had an upright bench press where like every time you pressed, a keg fell in and it got heavier.
Yeah.
Which if I had the money, I would love to build something.
Yeah.
And then there was a few other shows that did yoke press where you're in a bench press position, you're pressing the whole yoke.
Okay.
So I did a floor press.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of videos that it's been circulating about floor press. Is that something y'all are adding into?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's one of the events. It's the first event. And I swear that alone brought in probably 15, 20 power lifters.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just because they know, okay, deadlift, car deadlift. If I can deadlift a lot, I can car deadlift.
Right.
You know, floor press is a lot like bench press. You know, then nothing really squat related, but you know, got 2 out of the 3. And it hooked a few of them.
Yeah, it would get them involved.
Mhm.
And because, you know, it's fun to kind of tap into something that you're kind of comfortable with doing, but it's a little bit different. You know, and I think that's like, for me, like transitioning from like just strictly ultra running to doing more like hybrid events would be fun.
Oh, I would love to do like a Spartan race or something.
Yeah, we should totally do that one day.
We used to do them a lot, like the mud runs, the tough mud runs, and all that stuff. I'd love to do another one. But not this. I'm excited for this one. I got a killer crew. I mean, you're coming out helping.
Yeah.
I think my staff is probably double the size of any other staff I've ever had. So
That's fantastic.
we've got a hell of a team. I'm very excited for this.
No, I think it's going to go off really well. It's just exciting to see kind of what kind of growth that you've experienced in the past year alone.
Yeah, it's scary, and you know, and I say that in a positive way, like it's good scary. Because I want to see where this can eventually go.
Yeah,
you know, from 21 to 24, we've had 4 events. We had 2 of them the first year.
Yeah,
We've nearly 10 times the size of the first one, like just shy of 10 times of the first one. We had 8 and we went to 76. So I would love to see it grow into something where people use us as a jumping board to the bigger shows.
absolutely.
And it's kind of got that way. And I've also started advertising to some other athletes like, hey, you're way too strong for my show, but you just got hurt.
Right.
And you're on the mend. You need something to kind of knock the dust off.
Kind of get you back into
rhythm.
the,
Exactly. That's why I started doing the open. Originally, I wasn't going to do open divisions at all. I was going to have just nothing but novice. And I had the second event, we had 6 or 7 guys reach out to me. Hey, are you going to have an open? I was like, I wasn't thinking about it. After about the 6th or 7th one, I was like, yeah, we'll do an open, but it's going to be a single class, everybody against each other, which wasn't really fair because like the smallest guy was probably $195. The biggest guy was like 265. You know, so then I'll give them credit, man. It wasn't a done deal. Like the guy who won came up to me before the last event. He goes, what do I have to do to win?
Right.
Like he could have ran away with it, but he was being strategic. He was like, I'm not going to kill myself.
Right.
But he didn't. He couldn't just walk away at the last event, which means he didn't just own the show. So he still had to do some work.
Yeah.
And now both the winner and the runner-up of that show are on my team. It was Trey and Todd, and they were going. Those 2 were neck and neck. So it was good. I can't remember the points because, man, the first 2 shows we were writing everything down on paper.
Yeah,
stuff was getting thrown away by accident. Scoring was a mess. At one point I had everybody's placings from the event, but I didn't have any of their scores. I had them on a separate sheet, and that sheet got tossed. So as I'm inputting into Iron Podium, everybody's like, what was my time? What was my time? I was like, I don't know, but you were 5th. I don't know, but you were 8th. You know, and I still had the details, but it was so unorganized.
Right.
I learned quickly after that event, I can't do it all myself.
Right.
And I still struggle with that.
I know it's hard to delegate, but you know, that's why you fall back and you've built a good team.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a lot of good volunteers. So it's about like, hey, I'm gonna trust them that they're going to do their thing because this is going to assist you. Because if you're micromanaging and like looking at the specifics, you're taking away from what you've got to be doing.
Yeah, it was really tough. And I think this last event we had back in February was the event where I was like, it's okay to step away.
It is.
Because pretty much the team that's coming this show is the same team that was at the last one. And there was an event where like I was like, all right, I'm going to go put the scores in. And before I knew it, they had already changed everything over. We're ready to go to the next event. They were like, all right, weights are set. Can we go? I'm like, go. Yeah, y'all killing it. You know, I didn't. It's not that I didn't trust them. I I feel like if I'm not doing it, then I'm putting too much on everybody else.
Right.
It's not that I don't trust them to do it. It's
Right.
I feel guilty asking people to help me sometimes.
Right. But, you know, I think I mentioned it last time, like people see your drive, see your dedication. They want to be a part of it. So they're willing to help.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you get people that on your team that you trust, that you know is going to do a good job, that works hard.
Mm-hmm.
It is just something that you have to teach yourself. Say, hey, I'm going to let this go. I'm going to delegate and move on, because you've got a lot of stuff as the person that's over it all that you've got to be say, hey, I got to have the big view. Let other people have those specific views.
But I will say one of my biggest pet peeves is I've gone to a lot of shows and seeing someone who's supposed to be running the show not doing anything. No, and I know sometimes it looks that way. Like if they're step back, they're doing the overview.
Mm-hmm.
But being in the shows and then being a part of it as an athlete and also being a part of it as a spectator, you can tell when someone's in it working hard. You can tell when someone's kind of just letting everybody else do the work and they get the glory.
Right.
And I never want that to be the perspective of somebody like, oh, well, Chuck ain't doing anything. He's over there making me do all the heavy. No,
But I also think that the people that you got put in place, they know your heart, they know where you're at. So that's not even a question. And it's cool because like you got that chance to be an athlete first.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and get to really fine tune what you're seeing and your perspective and say, hey, I'm going to change this piece. I'm going to change that piece. Really like that piece. So I'm going to hold on to that. So you get to kind of create your own event where you know how you want it structured and how you want it ran.
Yeah.
So
I will say though, the biggest thing I learned from the last event was, you know, we did power stairs was the very final event where they have to lift 300 to 400 pounds up 3 stairs 3 times with 3 different handles.
Yeah.
And that's where the guilt kicked in for me. Because I had that was the show that I was set. It was like, okay, people are helping me. People can do this. I can step back a little bit. And then it got to the point where like, somebody's like, who's unloading this? Who's bringing it down? And it didn't hit me. I'm like, I picked this event. I'm the one that set this up, and I have no plan in place to bring essentially 900 to 1,000 pounds down for every athlete.
Right.
We had 20 something athletes, and I'm like, no, I'm in this. And people kept saying, step back, let me do it. I'm like, no, I'll rotate through the light and the heavy,
Right.
but I'm not taking the time off. Like maybe once every 10 rounds. And I hope that they saw that I appreciated all the work they did.
Yeah.
I had 2 or 3 guys. Shout out to Trey Gobble again, Todd Williams, Garrett. God, he killed himself the whole show. I swear, I think he injured himself in the show. I think he broke his toe unloading weights. But it's even Jonathan Oldham, who I stole Whiskey Weights and Ways like playing from.
Yeah.
He jumped in. He was a spectator. He jumped in, started unloading the weights or bringing the weights back down on his own. And then I had 2 or 3 athletes from the show. They were like, hey, I'm done. My division's over with. I'm jumping to help you. Like Jeremy Shell did it.
Yeah.
Brandon Wilson. I want to say it was, I apologize if I'm forgetting people, but there was so much support from the athletes that honestly, it made me tear up a little bit.
You know, and that just speaks to the type of community that these events hold.
Yes.
So like you're not just here for competition. Like you're here to like improve people's lives. You're here for your fellow brother. You know, it's just, it really speaks heavily to the character of the individuals that are in this sport.
100%. Yeah. I think that's why I dedicated so much to the sport.
Yeah.
You know, me and Alex have done different projects. We've hosted different types of events. The Strongman, she sees what I want with this and what I want to come from it. So she's giving me free rein to like go all in. Right. Like push these events. Like this one will be, I think, the 7th or 8th Strongman event. So we've had, this will be the 7th Strongman event that we've hosted. Yeah. And we've hosted 8 or 9 powerlifting shows. Nothing to even the smallest one of this, but $0 made off of any of them. Yeah. Like I've never made $1 as a promoter or as a director. It's all going back into the shows or into next year's show, like buying new equipment. Right. And my plan is never to make money off of this. I wanted to go back to the athletes because especially the weight class athletes, you know, they are risking so much to do these shows. Right. For just the glory. Like
Yeah.
this one is a payout if you have enough people in your class to justify a payout.
Right.
Like my other show, I try to put everything I make back into it, but this equipment ain't cheap. So
Right. Oh, absolutely.
So I'm working hard to make it to where this type of stuff, like our podcasts, our videos, can help support those events where I'm not coming out of pocket. And like even my staff, like you, I'm going to try to give you at least lunch money for the day. At the very least, gas money if you have to drive up here or something like that.
Man, I live 5 minutes away.
I know, but like, I'm going to try to buy everybody lunch or something from the food truck. So that's one thing that I really try like hard to make sure that everybody's taken care of.
All right.
Because if not, nobody's going to come back. But no, between trying to get you to play the music, I think it better help if you're over there catching stones like you were the first time.
Probably
or the
so.
second time. That was the second event.
That was the second event. I think the first event, I can't remember if I could. I don't think I was able to come to the first one because I think Make-A-Wish it kind of fell on that weekend where I was leading a training hike.
It was in April, yeah. So probably the second one was in August. It was so hot.
I remember that.
I felt bad too because the second one I booked the time, and that was the one where somebody reached out to me and were like, "Hey, we do a lot of these shows in the state, right?" I said, "No." So you might want to get with some of the other people who are running these shows so you're not stepping on any toes. I was like, I didn't think I would step on anybody's toes with my 8 people.
Right.
Yeah. So that's when I reached out because Chris Slater, who runs Alabama Strongest, he has the massive one. And I was competing in his show. I was like, I'm going to compete in his, and then 2 weeks later host my own.
Right.
And I was like, that's 2 weeks apart. I didn't realize people, they don't like doing them closer than a month apart.
Oh, yeah?
Like athletes.
Just like recovery-wise?
Yeah, they want to take time to recover. They a lot of athletes, they'll plan 3 or 4 months out.
Yeah, this is like my event.
It's like, okay, 3 months out, this is the show I'm going to do. I'm going to start my program.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to prep. I won't sign up until like 4 weeks out, 3 weeks out in case I get hurt.
Right.
But, that's my plan. So if they're planning for mine, they might skip over one that's coming up a week or two before.
Gotcha.
But that's kind of another reason why I've gone back to the demographic. I'm like, I want Alabama Strongest. I want, which now I'm not even close to that one because that's in August. But there's shows like Mississippi, there's Red Brick Rumble.
Okay.
And we're 2 weeks apart. And me and him message each other. His name's Zach. And he's like, hey, I'm going to move mine a week apart. I'm going to move mine a week up. Is that going to bother you? I'm like, it's not going to bother me a bit. I promise you.
Right.
Because you get, like, I'm not saying I don't get serious athletes, but his weights are going to be more competitive for someone who's wanting to move into like national level.
I got you.
My weights are going to be more for having fun. So I'm like, we've got different demographics, man.
And you need both.
Yes.
And I think, even like in the ultra running, trail running community, it's blown up so much. There's a race every weekend. So the fact that like people are going to pick and choose what they're wanting to, and if you put on an event that people are like, hey, I had so much fun. Felt like I was supported the whole time. The crowd was into it. They're going to keep coming back because they get that community and they get that feeling that they love.
Definitely.
So
I'm hoping with this new setup, we can start integrating more like music and stuff. We can't have your band, but we can have your music.
That's true. That's true.
As long as the people know coming in, it's not all kid friendly.
I mean, I can clean it up a little bit.
Can we edit Drunk O'Kelly? Because I love this song.
Yes, we can edit Drunk O'Kelly.
Man, we've been going for, I think, about 30 minutes now. You want to wrap this one up?
Yeah, I'm good with that, dude.
What you want to talk about today?
I think I'm straight, man.
I appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
Maybe next one we'll have some guests on. I guess it's in the words of your song, it's time to finish all your whiskey.
All right.
All right. Remember, no one cares. Train harder.
I